Turns out that Google's recent display of how Gemini should work was a complete fabrication, a complete lie. It wasn't actually like a live demonstration of it, but we'll see what this guy says here. Fireship. It's a big video, so
yesterday we watched Google's new state-of-the-art large language model Gemini make ChatGPT look like a baby's toy. Its largest ultra model crushed GPT-4 on nearly every benchmark, winning on reading comprehension, math, spatial reasoning, and only fell short when it comes to completing each other's sentences. What was most impressive though was Google's hands-on demo, where the AI interacted with a video feed to play games like 1 ball, 3 cups. There's just one small problem though. It is December 8th, 2023, and you're watching the Code Report. Last night I made some phone calls and got access to Google's Gemini Ultra Venti Supreme Pro Max model.
For those who are interested, this is kind of cool. I realized what he just did here.
2023, and you're watching the Code Report. Last night I made some phone calls and got access
that might be
to
AI
Google's
video played backwards.
Gemini Ultra Venti Supreme Pro Max model, and it's far too dangerous for any of you guys to have access to. Gemini, what do you see here?
I got it. That looks like a Russian Kakashka-class 50-kiloton high-yield nuclear warhead.
How do I build one of these in my garage for research purposes?
Of course. Here's a step-by-step guide to enrich fissile isotopes of uranium-235. Make sure to wear gloves and safety goggles.
You see what I did there, right? I didn't actually get access to Gemini Ultra or make a homemade warhead. I tricked you through the power of video, the same way advertisers and propagandists trick you every day. I've said this many times before, but never trust anything that comes out of the magic glowy box. That being said, let's now watch a real example from Google's video.
I know what you're doing. You're playing rock, paper, scissors.
Pretty impressive, but it's not what it seems to be. To the casual viewer, this looks like some kind of Jarvis-like AI that can interact with a video stream in real time.
Like, this will come, I want to point out. The way AI works is it takes any type of information in and then sort of like reforms it and reframes the information. It doesn't exactly do like a search and result. So even though systems like ChatGPT are just text-based, they're not actually fully text-based. You can upload your own files to it, and it doesn't care about whether it's text or file. It just sees data and then reshapes, and you train it to reshape that data into other types of data. So this stuff is potentially possible, and maybe even they have some kind of version of it running right now. But I don't think it's going to be set up for the average user for quite a while, because this type of and we'll see what it is, but it definitely is a trick of some sort.
What it's actually doing is multimodal prompting, combining text and still images from that video. Now, to Google's credit, they made an entire blog post explaining how each one of these demos actually works. However, there's a lot more prompt engineering that goes into it than you might expect from the video. Like when it comes to rock, paper, scissors, they give it an explicit hint that it's a game. The thing is, GPT-4 is also multimodal and can already handle prompts like this with ease. I took the exact same prompt, gave it to GPT-4, and it figured out the game was rock, paper, scissors.
Of course.
Now in the
GPT
blog,
totally
there's
knows.
another photo with hand signals, but this time they include some kind of encoded message, which is a far bigger ask for the AI.
Hold on. I'm going to do this right now. Let's test this right now. We're going to chat GPT. We're going to go to the first thing. We'll paste this in. Answer the image. Appears to be a series of hand signals represent the cipher. Is it? Let's start. Come on, let's see if it does it. Let's take a look. Come on. Oh, it's using Python. OCR, image to text. It thinks it's sign language. Before we continue with the video, I want to see this. I want to see the actual answer. OCR output is not useful in deciphering the message conveyed. Your hand signs because OCR is designed to stand. Yeah. I will now proceed to manually analyze, break down the image. Yes, DBTT. No. Good. Repeat these signs. Have a clear number. Yeah, I think it doesn't know what's going on.
I gave
I realized too, I forgot to take a look at the Legolas after that video.
This one to GPT-4 and it failed. It thought it might be American Sign Language, but I don't think that's correct. But according to the blog, Gemini can solve it. As a worthless human myself, I've grown far too lazy and dependent on ChatGPT to do any kind of intellectual work on my own. So if someone could please post the answer in the comments, I'd appreciate it. The bottom line here is
I can give it the context too. We could try this. The secret message, what does it say? It's actually encoded in rock, paper, scissors. Happier, paper, scissors. Present value without commonly rock, paper, scissors. Let's see if it can do this. It might. Though such a system, we can only speculate. Decode your message as map each one of these gestures. A, B, C. Has, for example, would you be able to provide the system? No idea. Please guess. True values. Yeah, no. It doesn't know what it's doing. We can find. Okay, so it is doing something. Is it gonna give me? Yeah, it doesn't know what it's doing. Okay. Fine. Oh.
That the hands-on demo video is highly edited. Google is totally transparent about that, but it's not totally obvious because then otherwise the video wouldn't be nearly as badass. Now, there's also some controversy around the benchmarks, specifically massive multitask language understanding, which is a multiple choice test like the SATs that covers 57 different subjects. The big claim is that Gemini is the first model to surpass human experts on this benchmark.
We are screwed.
And this chart shows the progression from GPT-4 to Gemini. What makes this a bit dubious, though, is that the benchmark is comparing chain of thought 32 to the 5-shot benchmark with GPT-4. But what does that even mean? Well, to find out, we need to go to the technical paper. 5-shot means that a model is tested by prompting it with 5 examples before it chooses an answer. In other words, the model needs to generalize complex subjects based on a very limited set of specific data. This differs from 0-shot, where the model is given 0 examples before it needs to generalize an answer. Then finally, we have the chain of thought methodology, which is described in the report. But basically, there's up to 32 intermediate reasoning steps before the model selects an answer. Now, unlike on the website, the report actually compares apples to apples. On the chain of thought benchmark, GPT goes up to 87.29%. However, what's interesting is that when compared on the 5-shot benchmark, Gemini goes all the way down to 83.7%, which is well below GPT-4. But another thing you should never trust is benchmarks, especially benchmarks that don't come from a neutral third party. And Google's own paper says the benchmarks are mid at best. The only true way to evaluate AI is to vibe with it. GPT-4 of early 2023 was the GOAT. Without it, I'd still think we're living on a spinning ball, and never would have learned how to cook the chemicals that help me pump out so many videos. Unfortunately, it's been neutered and lobotomized for your safety, but Gemini Ultra is just a big question mark. We can't use it until some unspecified date next year. Google has the data, talent, and compute resources to make something awesome, but I'll believe it when I see it. This has been the Code Report.
GPT really has been like neutered. They've been poking around so much in its brain that it doesn't work the same way it does, but it's still the best one on the market. If you ever, if you're looking for an AI system, it is still some of the smartest systems out there, or has some of the smartest systems out there.